What is up, YouTube? Dots Gaming here, and today I'm bringing you guys my top 10 beginner tips to get started in the Elder Scrolls Online. I made a video like this back when I first started. I think at that point it was the top 7 tips, and I haven't made an update video to that since then or recommended any new tips. It's not that any of the old tips are bad or don't work anymore, but like I've updated most of my beginner guides, I want to give this one an update too and give you guys my new top 10 beginner tips for getting started in ESO. As you know, I've learned more in the game and have done more. I have some new tips for you guys. So if you don't want to sit through the complete beginner guide or just want some really quick fire tips, this is the video for you. But we're going to get right into it. And the first one is to not get caught up in endgame builds when you're first starting out in the Elder Scrolls Online. It's really easy to go and see all of these wonderful endgame builds on websites like my own, dotsgaming.com, the forums, other content creator websites, YouTube, etc. And it's really easy to get caught up in all these builds and wondering which you should run and what's the best one for you. And I really recommend avoiding it at all costs and don't worry about it. You know, granted, when you're first starting, if you're trying to figure out a class, you know, it's good for you to kind of look at some videos on classes to get an idea of what you want to do, but don't get caught up in the specifics of the endgame builds, because as a new player, you don't really know what you should be looking for yet. So take the time, just enjoy the game and spend the time learning the Elder Scrolls Online. If you need any guides on basics and getting started and even intermediate level guides, you feel free to check out the rest of my YouTube channel as well as my website, dotsgaming.com. But if you do want to build for while you're starting, check out the leveling builds I have. They are non-static leveling progressions that will introduce you to the class, some of the good abilities, and help you set up your class for success in whatever role that you want to play it. The written guides on my website are the ones that are updated, so please go check those out. The second thing that I would recommend is not spending your money on gear while you're leveling. It's really easy to worry about, oh, well, I'm leveling, I need to buy this gear and my gear's getting out of date and I need to get new gear. I would not waste your time purchasing gear while you're leveling. There really isn't a point to it. You're going to replace it just as fast as you start leveling up. So what I would recommend doing is, you know, obviously questing, and you can get some gear from questing, but running plenty of dungeons is a really, really easy way to always make sure your gear is constantly updated and that you're getting new gear that's the appropriate level. You get a lot of gear drops while you are in dungeons, so you can constantly be upgrading your stuff for free, gaining experience while leveling, and you don't have to waste the hard-earned gold that's hard to come by when you're a lower level player on gear that you're going to replace anyway. My third tip is pertaining to bookshelves. Whenever you see a bookshelf in the Elder Scrolls Online, I would recommend walking up to it and interacting with it and searching the bookshelf, because you have a chance to level up a skill when you read a book off the shelf. It could be any skill from any one of your skill trees, but it gives you a chance for a next level up on a skill. And I've had people comment on that tip in the past saying, well, you know, you should save those for the end of the game, closer to the end of the game when you're reaching the higher levels that take more experience, because you'll get more bang for your buck when you read the book. But my counter argument to that is, do you really think you're going to go back through the entire world, through every dungeon you've ever run, through every encounter you've ever done, and read all the bookshelves? That's really impractical. No one's going to do that. If you want to, go ahead, but 99% of people are not going to do that. So what I would recommend doing is, anytime you see a bookshelf throughout the world, read it, interact with it. You have a chance for a skill up. Not always. It's not 100%. As you can see, I didn't just get one, but you have a chance to level up a skill. The next thing I want to recommend that you guys do right off the bat is start researching gear traits and weapon traits as soon as you're able to. Basically, what this means for those of you who are really new is you can craft gear with certain traits on it that give you certain bonuses, and same applies to weapons. For example, the power trait increases healing done, the charge trait increases your chance to apply status effects, the precise trait increases your critical value, etc. So you want to start researching these things as soon as possible, because the amount of time it takes to research this trait scales up exponentially the more traits you research. So for example, I can research precise maces, and you can see Researching this item will destroy it, and this process will take 21 hours and 36 minutes. And this is only the third item on my Dragon Knight who's not my crafter. The first item takes about 6 hours. The second one takes about 12 hours. The third one takes almost, 24 hours. But it continues to exponentially grow and grow and grow until like your final pieces are going to take almost a month to research. So starting this right off the bat, because there's so many different weapons in the game, there's light armor, medium armor, heavy armor, there's so many different things that you need to research, that starting this right off the bat is extremely important, especially on your first character, because more often than not your first character will have crafting professions done on them. And even if you choose to never level your crafting professions, you never know what might change in the future. You may decide one day, I want to level my crafting professions. So having these gear traits researched is extremely important. I would recommend doing it from your first steps inside of Tamriel. I would also recommend completing one dungeon and or one battleground per day. I know some people don't like PvP as much as others, but for those of you who really want to min-max the amount of experience you can gain per day, doing one random dungeon and one random battleground is really going to be key to that. Because as you can see, when you complete a normal random dungeon, your first one of the day, you get premium undaunted exploration supplies and a massive surge to your experience. And the same goes for random battleground. You get premium battleground supplies, but that exact same surge of experience. This could be really, really helpful for getting some high level or high quality supplies and stuff as you level up. But the main thing that you're concerned about is this huge boost of experience that you gain from doing these two random instanced PvP or PvE things per day. I would absolutely recommend doing them because it will not only make your leveling process, it'll kind of break it up because you'll be doing dungeons and BGs in addition to questing, or if you're choosing to grinding. So it helps kind of mix things up. And it makes it a little bit more fun, but they just give a crap ton of experience, so it does make your leveling go a bit faster. My sixth tip for you guys is to pick everything up while you are adventuring, whether it be crafting nodes or mob drops. Pick everything up while you adventure. For those of you with ESO Plus, all of the materials that you pick up will go straight into your craft bag, so they will not affect your inventory space. But all the junk that you get too, and all the white gear or green gear items that you pick up, you can deconstruct to help your crafting levels, and you can get materials from that. And you can just sell all the junk that you don't need or want to a vendor, which the little bit of gold that you have trickling in from constantly vendoring things will add up over time, and is a good way to just make some quick gold while you're leveling. Now, those of you without ESO Plus may be wondering, well, what should I do? I have very limited inventory space. I don't know what to do. For those of you who do not have ESO Plus, what I would recommend is any low-level crafting materials from, let's say, woodworking, enchanting, blacksmithing, and clothing. You feel free to either vendor those, or if you have a guild of the guild trader, you can sell them as well. I would absolutely recommend keeping the alchemy reagents, because in my opinion, every character needs to level alchemy, which is going to actually be my next tip, and I'll talk more about it and why. But otherwise, you can pretty much get rid of all the lower level crafting mats, because the best way to level up enchanting, woodworking, blacksmithing, and clothing is through deconstruction anyway. That is the best way to level them up. So you'd be better off just getting rid of all the other crafting mats you don't necessarily need, or crafting gear for yourself if you would like, and just waiting until you get max level in those crafting professions and then save those things. But the crux of what I'm trying to say is pick everything up while you're level, because it will allow you to make some really easy gold and to keep a continuous cash influx while you are leveling up. And like I stated in my last tip, I recommend for everyone, number 7, level up alchemy. I think this is a thing that people overlook, especially new players. Leveling up alchemy is the only crafting profession that, in my opinion, is 100% necessary for every character. You can completely ignore all the other ones if you really don't want to, if you don't ever care about crafting, if you never want to make yourself gear, albeit I would recommend leveling up at least blacksmithing, clothing, and woodworking on on a character. I would absolutely recommend those, because trust me, it's much easier to craft your own stuff. You must level up alchemy. You must do it. And the reason I recommend it is because of the medicinal use passive. It has a direct effect on combat. When using potions, resulting effects last 30% longer. And that's basically code for your potions will have 100% uptime. So for example, if I can pull up my potions, if you look at my potion here, right, it lasts 47.6 seconds with a 45-second cooldown. So if I continually chug potions the effects that I gain from the potions will never drop off of my character. If I didn't have medicinal use, there would be downtime on my potions. And if for some of your builds you choose to gain major or minor buffs that are may be necessary for your classes or your build success, you're going to have downtime, you know? And the only reason you're having downtime is because you chose to not level up alchemy. So I would absolutely recommend 1000% leveling up alchemy. And I know people are going to ask me, how? What is the best way to level up alchemy? The best way to level up alchemy is to simply, you can look up basic poison or potion recipes. Okay, it doesn't matter which type, any recipe. All that matters is the type of water or ichor that you choose to use. So basically what you want to do is put a point, I think you'll start obviously with just 1 point in solvent proficiency. You want to make as many potions with the level 1 water and any 2 ingredients until it hits level 10. Then you put a point in solvent proficiency. Then use the next tier water. You can use the same ingredients, but you just have to level up the tier water or ichor, and then make to level 30. And then same thing then to level 40. I think I skipped 10 through 20, but you guys get the point. Basically, you just need to level this up every 10 levels and continuously use new ichor or new water, and that will allow you to quickly level up alchemy to 50. You can find some really cheap potion or poison recipes that are very, very easy to make, and you can have alchemy leveled up in like 20 minutes to 50. It's really, really not a big deal. And then when you're done, you can do what I did, reset your points, and then just put 3 points into medicinal use. So that's all I really need on this guy, because I don't want to, this guy isn't my crafter, so I just put the points in for medicinal use. Now, as I stated in a previous tip, I recommend deconstructing and not vendoring all gear and enchants you don't need while leveling. I mentioned this in tip number 6 with picking everything up while you're leveling. While I would recommend vendoring a lot of the trash and stuff you get, any gear or enchants that you can deconstruct, I would recommend deconstructing, because that is the quickest way to level up clothing, blacksmithing, woodworking, and enchanting. Is simply deconstructing things. So if you just deconstruct all the gear and enchant that you do not need while you level, by the time you reach level 50, your crafting professions will all, or at least almost, be level 50. And I know, at least that's what happened to me with clothing, woodworking, and blacksmithing. My enchanting was lagging behind a little bit, but those other 3 were all basically 50 when I hit max level. So definitely do this while you are leveling up. My 9th tip for you guys is to pick up the Fighters Guild, the Mages, and the Undaunted guilds immediately when you start playing the game. Immediately, you want to get these 3 guilds. And the reason is so that you're able to start leveling them up as soon as you can. The Mages Guild is really, really important, especially for Magicka-based characters. The Fighters Guild is important for stamina characters, but also sees some use for Magicka characters. And then the Undaunted is important to everybody because it has some really strong passives that we all need. Now, you can find the Fighters and the Mages Guild in most cities. Mages Guild is shown by this icon right here, and the Fighters Guild is shown by this icon right here. And you basically just need to simply walk up, talk to someone. They'll have a quest marker above their head. You say, hello, I would like to join your guild. And they say, sweet, sounds good. And you're able to join the guild. The Undaunted will be found in a inn inside one of these 3 starter towns. You have Davin's Watch for the Ebonheart Pact. You have Daggerfall, in Glenumbra for the Daggerfall Covenant, and then you also have Volkel Guard in Auradon for the Aldmeri Dominion. So you can talk to anyone in one of those 3 inns, and you will be able to get the Undaunted Guild. But there are other guilds in the game that you can get through DLC and other type stuff, but Mages, Fighters, and Undaunted, they are necessary for your character. So definitely get those and as soon as you can, so that you can start collecting lore books for the Mages Guild, killing Daedra for the Fighters Guild, and completing dungeons and dungeon quests for the Undaunted. Last thing that I want to recommend to you guys is to complete the main quest on every single character. Now, if you have no idea how to get the main quest and no idea what I'm even talking about, the main quest of the original vanilla game, I recommend checking out my complete beginner guide. I believe section 6 talks about how to not only get your main quest on your character, but get your faction quest. So if you don't know how to get it, that part of the guide will tell you. But I just want to tell you in this one why the main quest is so important. And that is because every single quest you complete in the main quest line of the game with defeating Molag Bal not only grants a crap ton of experience, but every single quest will grant you a skill point. And you will be able to see as you're leveling, the more skill points you get, the better. It allows you to have more flexibility with your skills. You're able to get more passives as soon as you can, and more passives and more skills means more power to your character. So completing the main quest on every single toon is extremely important, because if you're not, you are missing out on a chunk of very easy to acquire skill points. But that is it for me today, guys. That is my new top 10 beginner tips to get started in the Elder Scrolls Online video. I really appreciate your guys' feedback on my giveaway video, on new topics and videos that you would like to see from me. I really appreciate it. Got some really good feedback and really good comments on that. So I got some new ideas, got some new stuff I was thinking about, and updating this video was something that I was definitely considering doing, but after your comments, it definitely pushed me over the edge to finally sit down and make it. So if you guys liked and enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate if you slapped a like on it. If you're new to my channel here and want to see more beginner guides, intermediate guides, PvP montages and guides, build videos, just great overall ESO content, please hit that sub button as well as hit the bell to always keep notifications on. If you would like to watch me live, please check me out on twitch.tv/dotsgaming and drop a follow over there. You will see my schedule in the Streamlabs panel below my stream, and that is always up to date. And then follow me on Twitter as well for any and all updates. Now, thank you so much, guys, for watching. I really, really appreciate it. As always, I'm Dots Gaming. Have a good day.